Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Cynnnical, and today for you guys I'm bringing you another Kingdom Hearts top video. Today's top video is going to be my personal top 5 darkest moments from the Kingdom Hearts franchise. I know you guys have been wanting this top 5 topic for some time now. I've been quite busy with it being New Year's and stuff like that, but pretty much I had a whole cluster of different questions asking me whether or not I'm actually going to be doing a top 5 darkest moments. When I just got that group of different questions asking pretty much the same question, I was like, damn, there is a demand for this, so I have to do it. So anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Share your love by liking this video, and let's get on with it. Coming in at number 5 is Riku from Kingdom Hearts 1. So yes, I know this isn't a specific moment in the game, but come on guys, I had to add this. Riku is a character that has the most darkest experiences, well, pretty much one of the characters that has the darkest experiences in the Kingdom Hearts series. What happens to Riku is a very, very sad story. He is one character out of a small handful. But Riku, I mean, I felt like I needed to add sort of Riku in Kingdom Hearts 1 because that's when, of course, he starts deteriorating as far as darkness is concerned. Of course, Riku succumbed to the darkness on Destiny Islands at the very start of the game, and then throughout our adventures throughout, Kingdom Hearts 1, we're constantly, finding him in the different worlds, doing all these sort of dark deeds, similar to what sort of Terra was doing throughout Birth by Sleep. But yet again, sort of Terra was clueless, whereas Riku, he definitely had some sort of idea as to what he was doing. But anyway, Riku from Kingdom Hearts 1, I felt like I needed to add him. He was meant to be our best friend, but his mind was so confused and coagulated with darkness. It was a very, very sad thing to see, very dark and hollow moments throughout the game, seeing Riku in his state that he was. So that's why I had to put this in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is Zexian's death from Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. So Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories is a completely dark game. When you guys think about it, and you think about the different happenings and the different plot points and the different deaths that happen in Chain of Memories, you sort of stop and think, wow, Chain of Memories was a really, really dark Kingdom Hearts game. I mean, one of the darkest if you put your mind to it. But Zexian's death was quite dark, seeing him pretty much being absorbed and burnt to death from Riku replica, or the replica of Riku, was a pretty dark moment. After Zexian had been defeated by Riku, he of course used the dark portal to get out of there. He was very weak and stuff at the time, and of course we see the scene where Axel and Riku replica are standing there, and of course Riku replica meant to be on the same side as the organization, as well as Axel and all that. Of course, Riku replica then absorbs him, and in a way just pretty much kills him, burns him pretty much alive. This scene really did shock me, and the deaths in Chain of Memories were pretty shocking. But that brings me on to number 3, and that's Vexen's death. So similar to Zexian's death, once again, it's a death scene that really, really shocked me. It wasn't sad, it was dark. It was a really dark moment, and these scenes are not scenes that you really see throughout the Kingdom Hearts games. I mean, these are very sort of exclusive to Chain of Memories, and I absolutely had to add both Zexian's death scene as well as Vexen's death scene, because they're more so murder really than anything else. They're sort of like sadistic murder if you actually think about it, and that's strange to think about, especially when these sort of like Disney games, you just don't really see that. But of course Axel, I mean, he was really, really dark in Chain of Memories, going against the organization because of the fact that they were all traitors. He wasn't technically going against the organization because he was trying to save the organization in a way. Of course, the group that was at Castle Oblivion, they had plans to take over the organization. But I mean, Axel, he was very, very cruel to the organization members that were trying to go against the organization. And honestly, like, this death scene was just so straight up. Axel just came out of nowhere. He had no mercy. He didn't really care for Vexen at all, and he just straight up burns him and cursed him alive. And of course, Sora being all confused and stuff, saying, "What are you people?" It was definitely a very, very dark moment. Both of these death scenes, some of the very only death scenes that we actually see in the Kingdom Hearts games. I hope to actually see more of these sort of death scenes in Kingdom Hearts 3, because they're so much more straight up, blunt, and sadistic, if you know what I'm sort of saying. But anyway, both of these, Zexian comes in at number 4, and the Vexen death scene comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Eriquis's death in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. So of course we're now moving on to Birth by Sleep. You guys have probably been waiting for this, but Eriquis's death is something that I've never talked about on my channel before, so finally I get to do so. So yes, Eriquis's death, I absolutely needed to add this on my top 5 darkest moments, because this really is a dark moment. I mean, you know, the whole reason and point of both why Terra is fighting Eriquis against the reason why Eriquis is fighting, you know, Terra, they both have very, very good reasonings, and I wouldn't say it's overly for darkness. They're both for two very good reasons. I mean, the reason why Eriquis, you know, was fighting Terra because of the fact that he could see a great darkness growing inside of Terra, and he was of course going to destroy Ventus, but not for a bad reason. I mean, there was a very good reason why Eriquis wanted to actually destroy Ventus, and that was because of Vanitas. If both of them came together, of course the Keyblade would have been created, and then Xehanort, you know, being able to take over Kingdom Hearts and all that. It was for a very good reason, but of course, being the protective friend that Terra was, he wouldn't let that happen, and ultimately it meant that Terra was, well, forced to actually defeat Eriquis. But in doing so, he used darkness, you know, he used the darkness within him to destroy Eriquis. Now, Eriquis also, now this is something that people do actually get a little bit confused about. Eriquis was always a father figure to Terra. He's not actually Terra's father, even though he says it in this scene. He is a father figure, and when you actually have to, you know, fight against the person who raised you, I think that's a very, very sad, dark and hollow moment. So I needed to add this into the list because it's a very, very sad moment, but I think it's more of a dark moment really than a sad moment, hence it's not on my top 5 saddest moments. But anyway, Eriquis's death comes in at number 2, and coming in at number 1 is the ending of Birth by Sleep. Similar to the placement of number 5, it's not a specific moment really, but all of the happenings at the end of Birth by Sleep have to be the darkest moments so far in the Kingdom Hearts series. I mean, technically, Xehanort wins, and, well, that's something that doesn't really happen in video games. The antagonist doesn't usually win, and the feeling of that is extremely, like, it just leaves the player like, did I not do a good enough job? Like, what is going on here? But I actually like that moment, and I like that feeling, even though it's dark, it's hollow, it's gloomy, it's not nice, it's different, and this has to be the darkest moment in Kingdom Hearts. The very endings of, you know, each 3 characters in Birth by Sleep. What happens to each of the characters is absolutely tragic. Of course, you know, Terra's body being overtaken by Xehanort. Of course, Vanitas being ultimately destroyed, but then at the same time, Ventus had to sacrifice a big part of his heart. It got extremely fractured, and it's now resting inside of Sora. And of course, you know, Aqua ultimately sort of, once again, sort of, you know, like sacrificing herself to save a friend, and she puts herself in the realm of darkness, and she's almost pretty much stuck there now. So in a way, technically, you know, Xehanort didn't really get what he wanted to, but he has sort of been delayed, but nothing overly too bad happened to him. As far as who was affected more, I would say the 3 friends being Aqua, Terra, and Ventus. Ultimately, though, if you think about it, Xehanort did win at the end of Birth by Sleep, and I think that's something that doesn't usually happen to, you know, the protagonists at the end of video games, and I absolutely love that. It was an awesome prequel to pretty much any game series I've ever played. I love the ending of Birth by Sleep. It's extremely heart-wrenching, and what happens to the 3 characters is absolutely tragic. So I had to add this into number 1. I know it's a lot of people's number 1, so don't hate me if it's the same as other people's or it's, you know, too mainstream, but come on guys, the ending of Birth by Sleep is absolutely tragic and has to be the darkest moment of Kingdom Hearts. But anyway guys, if you're sitting there and you're wondering, what about Shionne's death? I know a lot of you guys are probably sitting there wondering. I felt like that wasn't a dark moment, that was more of a sad moment. So if you guys want to see my top 5 saddest moments, be sure to click the annotation that's on the screen. Now, alternatively, you can click the link in the description. You can check out that top 5. But anyway, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed. Remember to check my channel out for more Kingdom Hearts content. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.